Okay, so this little stream and video is going to be to quickly discuss the Starvation tournament that I'm hosting. And so basically what this tournament is, so we're going to first discuss the premise. So the premise of the tournament is basically what happens in Age of Empires 3 when there's no hunt on the map. And so I've tried to keep the rules as minimal as possible so as to avoid just messing with it too much, because obviously it's a completely unknown meta, etc, etc. So right now the rules are, so we're just going to discuss the rules first and some changes that I've recently made to the rules. So it's basically one change. So the current rules in that are that Stagecoach upgrade may not be researched. So we're looking at this. This is just the main Starvation Fun Tournament post. So Stagecoach upgrade may not be researched. So basically what that means is I don't want the games to turn into a big battle for Stagecoach TPs, because obviously early on pretty easy to gather wood and 200 food for Stagecoach and wood for the trading posts. So that'll, on TP oriented maps like Klondike and stuff like that, the ones that are in the map set, it'll encourage too much Stagecoach play, and that's not really something I'm interested in seeing. And I don't think it really helps the game. It'll just make it too trading post orientated to get the food, because obviously it'll become the cheapest, easiest way to get food early on. And China and Japan are banned for balance reasons. So I've actually decided to unban China, so I'm going to be updating this after this video, and I'm probably going to be releasing a second post with this video, with like a video of this attached. Alright, so there's no ban on gathering hunts, therefore shipments such as 9 bison, etc. may be sent and gathered from. The reason I did this is because native civ economies, like the civs that can civ send 9 bison, etc., are civs like Sioux and Iroquois that don't have very good long-term economies. And so I think something like 9 bison will balance that out a bit. Like being able to send those hunt cards will hopefully balance that out a little bit, because obviously this kind of game is going to be more late game orientated, or mid game. Water play is allowed, however schooners is banned. So basically water play is already pretty strong, and I don't want it to be, because obviously wood and gold are going to be easier to gather than food now. So I want schooners kind of out of there. I don't want it becoming just like a water fest. It's not helpful for the metagame. Improved mercenaries is banned and cannot be in the deck. So the reason I removed improved mercenaries is because obviously mercenaries are already going to be pretty strong in this metagame, since they only cost coin and wood for the housing. And improved mercenaries just kind of pushes them a bit over the edge, I think. So I think I'm just going to ban improved mercenaries just to make sure Germany isn't incredibly overpowered. All fruit crate shipments and shipments, including food crates, are banned. Like the mixed food crate, so shipments from Iroquois and stuff, and cannot be in the selected deck. And so you can age up, however, with food crates if like the 500 food age up to colonial or whatever for European civs. And so when I say cannot be in the selected deck, so the way to the way that we're going to confirm that you're not using the card is not through use of the eye, although we could, but we're going to make it so that if we see that card in the deck that you choose for the game, you give up that game. So essentially you forfeit that game if it's in the deck. So you really, really should be making unique decks for this tournament to make sure that you don't have any crates that are breaking the rules, because obviously consequences of breaking rules. If a player is fined for violating the rules of the tournament, they immediately forfeit the match being played. So that's any of these rules up here. Alright, so the next thing is up the map set. So there are 5 maps that I've made, well, edited, I haven't made them, to remove the hunts. And so we have Mendocino, Pampas Sierras, Klondike, Cascade Range, and Adirondacks. So Mendocino, so looks like fun to set up. Cool. Oh, okay, he's offline. Anyways, so we're just going to quickly look at all the maps here. So they're all titled Starvation, so they're very easy to distinguish from the other maps. So we're just going to look at all the maps quickly just to give everyone a quick idea of like what kind of strategies will be most likely viable on these maps, etc. And then we'll look at the ways the map rotation works in this game. I chose to make it more map rotation oriented rather than civ rotation, because it's kind of ridiculous to expect people to learn like strategies for a bunch of different civs. And this is just spawning up here because the UI maps don't work properly in Skirmish. So this is Adirondacks. This is a no berry map, meaning it's going to be a slower one if you don't choose to go for water. However, there is quite good water with fish only, but lots of fish, so it's going to be a pretty good map for fishing. Obviously lots of trees, a fair amount of mines, but they are all only silver mines. So I think this is the water map of the set. So essentially we're probably going to want to see some I guess water civs, probably with some like maybe Britain, some offshore support or whatever like that, which I might actually, maybe I'll ban that, I don't know. Maybe not those. So we're basically going to see these Hurons, they have a good fishing upgrade at the trading post, so that's going to probably see some native stuff going on, because I believe these guys actually coast wood and coin, the manlets do. So that could be something interesting and viable. So you water room, but you can also manlet rush. Either way, I don't believe they cost very much food. So, alright, let's get out of here and look at the next one. Alright, so Cascade Range, traditionally one of the most hunt-starved maps in the game, and thought of as very resource-poor. However, in Starve, due to the number of berry bushes everywhere, this is actually a very high resource map, so there's you can load all these berry bushes. That's 4,000 food right there, 4,000 food everywhere, all these little patches around on the map, if you're looking at my cursor on the mini-map. And there's also lakes with fish in them, so really this is actually quite a high resource map for Starve. So this is probably going to be the boomiest map, despite having a fairly short rush distance. However, it also has good natives as well. And Huckleberry Face, I actually have no idea what that is. I'll have to look at that. It seems like something useful, something like food crates or something like that you could send. And Nuka have so much stuff that I don't know what it is, because I don't play with natives. Anyways, so Cascade Range, boomiest to the maps, good natives. Overall, I think this will definitely be the fastest map of the set and with the most exciting, well, maybe not the most exciting games, but definitely the fastest paced, I'd say. Alright, so Klondike. Next map in the set. Victory is yours. Strange. Hopefully I didn't mess up this map editing. Anyways. Oh no, the other one just didn't spawn. Okay, fire. Alright, so anyways, Klondike has very little resources in the middle. This is usually where the hunts are, but they've all been removed, right? So down here by the trading post, there's a lot of berries. So this is a fairly resource-intensive map. However, the other player usually spawns here. There are a lot of berries. There's a few just a little bit away from your base. So I think what's going to happen here is we're going to see a lot of building around this trading post, maybe a lot of forward basing and some outposts and stuff like that, which I expect we'll see just because they're fairly decent. Outpost is worth like a few musketeers at least, and it's probably cheaper on Starve early on. So yeah, what I expect on this map, it's fairly boomy, kind of TP orientated. Maybe it'll be more techy because of that. We might actually see some Fortress Age or something like that. Or maybe even Industrial Age, just try and power through with really, really strong shipments and just gather just enough food to do that. And so, probably see a lot of TP and berry play over here on the side. And Mendocino. Alright. So, Mendocino is the most resource-starved map. This is the true Starvation map. As far as the Starvation tournament goes, there are no berries, no fish, nothing like that. So this is going to be a mill apocalypse. Going to be mills or livestock pens. There's actually no livestock on this map either. So this will definitely be mill livestock pen heavy map. So that's kind of what I expect to see here. And strategy should revolve around that. And one more map left, Pampas Sierras. So Pampas spawns with a fair amount of llamas on the top. I believe it's 12 or so. Two, three, four, five, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 llamas, okay, so 7 llamas a player should they split them exactly evenly, which is quite a good start for livestocking. So this will definitely be a livestock map. Obviously no berries, anywhere else, no little red splotches on the map, so this will be livestock focused. So livestock civs like Brit, etc. will do quite well on this map. Alright, so that's our full look at the map set. And now we'll go back and we'll just check. So to download the maps, you just get them here. They're all here. You download the .xs and the .xml. You can just download all the attachments, and then they all look like here. And then all you do is you just go into, if you went with the standard install route, Age of Empires, you just search for it. You see it's local disk, users, my name, documents, my games, Age of Empires 3, and then RM3. Just to be safe, you might as well just dump it in both. You just copy them all, dump them all in here. I'm not copying them because they're already in there. And RMF. I believe it works differently for the two different patches. So we'll actually be playing on the patch will be played on the ESOC patch 2.0. The tournament will be. So obviously, I don't know. I don't know what that is, anyways. So basically, we'll just be using the ESOC patch here to play the games on, just because the balance has changed a bit, but some like overpowered things like Genitors and stuff are a little bit nerfed, and since things will be going late game, that's a little bit appreciated, I'd say. French native snare. You're really going to want that explorer in the early fight, so that's it'd be quite annoying to get that taken out early on. And where are we? So, civ and map selection process. So, basically, I'm actually borrowing the same map selection process from the Super Smash Bros. Melee competitive scene. So basically what we're doing is, first off, when you're selecting a map, the caster, probably me, maybe someone else, will assign one player heads and one player tails, usually. Probably player 1 will be heads, player 2 will be tails, or something like that. And then flip a coin, or something, doesn't matter, maybe this iTunes gift card that I have here. And which one goes heads or tails will be able to choose either civilization or map first. So the winner of the coin flip decides whether they want to choose civ or map first. And so if they choose, so whoever chooses, for the purpose of this stage, the player who chose to pick stage, so the player, or map, I guess, will first veto 2 maps. So that could be either the winner of the coin flip or the loser of the coin flip, depending on what the winner chooses, if he wants to choose civilization first. Okay, oh, this doesn't actually mean civilization first, it's civilization second. I should clarify that. So you can counterpick civilization or map. So basically how it works for the map selection so anyways, whoever chooses the map, so whoever chooses the map is going to be kind of lost my train of thought. Whoever chooses to pick the map first will first veto 2 of the maps. So let's say, let's just do that quickly. Whoever chooses to pick map first will first veto 2 maps. So let's say I want to veto Papa Sierras and Mendocino. So let's veto those 2. The remaining player, the person who chose Civilization first, no, the person who decided to choose Civilization second will veto another map. So let's say Adirondacks or something like that. And then the the remaining player will choose between the remaining 2 civilizations. So I now have, as the chooser of the civ, of the choosers of the map, I can now choose between Cascade Range or Klondike. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but it's a little bit of a process of elimination that allows to choose the maps while still allowing the other player to remove some that are detrimental to them. So after the first match, then it goes winner picks Civ first, and the winner may now veto 1 map, and the loser picks the map. So let's say I chose the civilization as the first game. Let's say I chose map the first game and I won, and my opponent chose civilization second, so he had civilization and pick advantage. And therefore now I have... So now my opponent... No. So now I veto 1 map, and my opponent chooses 1 map, and then... Okay, this is really confusing. Maybe I'll just start from the beginning and edit that out in the video. So basically what happens... I know this is confusing. Okay, caster flips, heads or tails. Whichever player wins can choose to either have the civilization counter pick or the map counter pick. If you choose to have map counter pick, or you get map counter pick because the other player who won the coin toss chose civilization counter pick, then you first veto 2 maps. Let's say we veto the top 2, so those are no longer in contention. Then the other player can veto 1 map, and then the person who wanted to have map counter pick picks between the remaining 2. That's for the first match. Second match, the loser of the previous game now has map and civilization counter pick. So they pick civilization second, and they pick map, but the winner of the previous game can veto 1 map. And then, should the third match be necessary, it just proceeds as with above. So basically, that just means that it just goes in reverse as the second one. So now the loser of the previous match picks between the maps minus the one that the winner vetoed, and the loser has Civ counterpick advantage. And then for best of 5, which is just the final round, so it's not really going to concern most people, we have the coin toss again. The map selection for the first one is the same as here. So it's the person who chooses first vetoes 2, then the person who doesn't choose vetoes 1, then the person who chooses between the remaining 2. However, after that there are no bans on maps. So so the loser can counterpick the winner of the previous match to any map and with any civilization. And the tournament format is single elimination seeded bracket. There are maximum 32 spots, however, looking at how many people are currently there, we'll probably more get like 16 or so, we'll see. And this. So the sign up right here is challenge at the moment, and I believe Buckethead is working on porting the sign up bracket to ESOC. It hasn't been done yet, but hopefully we'll get that soon. I'm just waiting on word from some of the mods, and hopefully I believe this will be on ESOC TV as well, and I'll try and get some other commentators in them for that. So hopefully that works out fine. Alright, so that's probably the end of that. If you have any more questions, I'll try and write a version of the maps of the map and sim selection process that makes a little bit more sense. Just because it is a little confusing, I understand. So we'll just try and do that, and then we'll be done. Okay, that should do that for this stream.